well, knock on wood. And one mistake that I made though was on my first BRRRR, when I sat down at the closing table for the cash out refinance, I realized that the interest, like the mortgage was fixed for 2 years, then variable. And I was like, that's not right. And I texted the lender because I was sitting at the closing table, like, ready to sign the documents. And I'm like, hey, is this right? He's like, yeah. And I went back at the emails and he had said months ago, fixed for 2, then variable. And I was like, gosh, I felt like such an idiot, because I thought I was getting fixed for 20 or 30, right? Like a normal commercial refinance. And I was like, well, at this point, I'll just figure it out, maybe do a portfolio refinance down the road or something. But I was, and I realized people have had a lot more significant where they've lost tons of money on flips or whatever. But that one is like, I felt like such an idiot in the moment. Like, how did I miss that on such a significant thing, with the refinance? So to answer your question, what I would not do again is gloss over the terms of any financing I get.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because I will say, like, I own my engineering business during the day, right? And then I own like kind of this or partial owner, I'll say, in a real estate company. And what ends up happening is there's so many things you can't possibly pay attention to all of them. But there are certain things where it's like you must pay attention. And lending is one of them, right? It has to be super detailed. It's not really my personality to be incredibly detailed, but you have to be. So love that tip. And it's funny, I've been at a closing table too. My wife was there with me and it wasn't right. And the math wasn't right. Sitting at the closing table and the lender had made a mistake, not a very big one. So we ended up just signing and moving on. But she had actually kind of confessed, oh yeah, I caught that, but it was almost too late. And I was like, I cannot believe that you did that. And I like kind of embarrassed her at the table in a way that was like, don't do that to anyone else ever again. Like, I deserved to know, my wife deserved to know, not a big enough deal right now. So we closed and we left money on the table from a mistake from a lender. But yeah, I mean, it's worth going through kind of line by line. I've heard of people having like a guy who I met recently, there's a $10,000 mistake on the basically closing documents.
Wow.
So he walked away. He's like, I'm not signing that until it's right. And was able to close like 2 days later. But yeah, it's worth being pretty detailed. So
yeah, absolutely. Also, like when I get annoyed when it's time to close, but it's the first time you've seen the documents. Like you didn't even have a chance to review them. I'm like, I'm not going to go through the 30 pages right here when the title company's like, all right, we got to close another closing here in 20 minutes. I'm like, I hate that too.
Yeah, I think for me, like I hate to be a baby about it, but I will complain about lending like a lot. It's super frustrating process. So I think that's like another tip for people to get into real estate is like just exercise patience and understanding. The lender's job is pretty tough these days, but man, it's frustrating. Like it takes forever. It's inevitably going to be delayed. If it's a bigger deal, there's a million documents, the same documents 30 times. Like it's just a frustrating process. So I think you just like settle in. If I had to like give myself a tip, just like it's part of the process, just like be okay with how annoying it is.